Somewhere I have never traveled, gladly beyond, by E. E. Cummings. The poem goes as follows, read by E. E. Cummings himself.
Somewhere I have never traveled, gladly beyond any experience, your eyes have their silence. In your most frail gesture are things which enclose me, or which I cannot touch because they are too near. Your slightest look easily will unclose me, though I have closed myself as fingers. You open always petal by petal myself, as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously, her first rose. Or if your wish be to close me, I and my life will shut very beautifully, suddenly, as when the heart of this flower imagines the snow carefully everywhere descending. Nothing which we are to perceive in this world equals the power of your intense fragility, whose texture compels me with the color of its countries, rendering death and forever with each breathing. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens. Only something in me understands the voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses. Nobody, not even the rain, has such small hands.
The first recognizable thing in this poem is that this is clearly a love song. This is evident throughout the many times where Cummings explains how his lover just has so much power over him due to his affections for her. One of the most common themes in this poem is the theme that love is beautiful. Cummings really remarks about how the highs and lows of love are very appreciable. And the final theme to take note of is that love gives power to your lover. This is seen in a couple of lines. The first line it's seen in is, "Your slightest look easily will enclose me." And then it's again seen in the next stanza, where it is said that, "Or if your wish be to close me, I and my life will shut very beautifully, suddenly." And then finally in the last stanza, Cummings says, "I do not know what it is about you that encloses and opens." And this just all shows how Cummings really just feels that he gives his love so much power and he has no idea why. It just happens because of one of the mysteries of love. The reason this poem is a very unique poem is due to its author, or poet, E. E. Cummings. Cummings has a trademark style of not using correct grammar or syntax when he writes. This is evident throughout the entire poem, but just in the first stanza alone you can see that he doesn't put a space after the commas, which you should be doing, and he also does not capitalize the first words in each line, which most people do, unless for some specific lines for effect, whereas he does it for all of the lines. This actually got Cummings into a bit of trouble in World War I when he was working with an ambulance in France, and he was actually convicted on account of suspected espionage because people thought that the weird syntax that he used in his letters was actually him sending more coded information, whereas really he was just defying the rules of the English language. And this is one of the most modernist things you can do when modernism is one of the key aspects of modernism is the defiance of the set rules and regulations. The big thing to notice in this poem is that it is one big metaphor comparing the narrator, who would be E. E. Cummings, to a rose. This is most evident by the line, "You open always petal by petal, myself as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously her first rose." Synesthesia is used a lot throughout this poem, and basically synesthesia is sensing something with a different sense than what is intended. This is very evident in the last stanza when Cummings says, "Only something in me understands the voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses." He is using this language here because he cannot possibly convey the look in her eyes through sensory input of sight, so he resorts to using the sound and the voice that he would picture her eyes being to show the depth and the wisdom that her eyes have. There are many pieces of modernist artwork that can be compared to Somewhere I've Never Traveled, Gladly Beyond, but one of my favorites that I've come across in researching this poem is this concerto for piano and orchestra. It has a lot of the similar aspects that Cummings's poems have, where it just defies most rules that are set for it in the field. One of the most common examples seen in this piece is how it sets up so much tension. Most music, if it does set up tension, it wants to resolve the tension as quickly as possible, but this is not the case in this piece. So here is a little snippet of this piece. And as you can see, this piece uses a lot of unsettling tones that most musicians would criticize in the writing, and most would not like to play in their musical accompaniments. And that was the analysis of Somewhere I Have Never Traveled, Gladly Beyond.